खुद ही स्टार्ट कर लूं चलें ठीक है मैं विदिन 3 मिनट्स स्टार्ट Assalamu alaikum. Today our presentation is about how to start with the preparation of step 1 and step 2. For that, I just want to thank this all Pakistan Student Union organization. This is Learn and Serve service. They basically work on two respectives. One is healthcare, another one is education. So it's a free service for everybody. You can donate and join their service. Basically, our today's topic is roadmap to ECFMG certification. I'm today's presenter, Dr. Rahila Ali. I have completed my step 1, 2, and OET and applied for the certification. Now waiting for a certificate, and I'm this year's match applicant. Step to the World Directory of Medical School, their website, and check if your school is registered over there or not. If your med school is registered over there, it means you can apply for steps exams. You are eligible to apply, and now you can apply for the pathways and all this. So I have shared the link here. This is the link where you can go and check your med school if it's accredited with the ECFMG or not. After that, you start with your preparation and all this. So the process for ECSMG certification is, first thing is you have to apply the application process. The application for ECFMG certification consisting of an online application, and you have to get a identification form, which they call is form 183. Click to the ECFMG, go to their website, fill this form, and after that they will share a link with you where you have to take oath on Zoom by notary public firm hired by the ECFMG. After that, you will receive form 183. Examination requirements is applicants must have step 1, step 2, and after form 183, you apply for step 1, step 2 basically. Then you will get a 183 form 183. The first is you submit online your credentials accordingly, and after that what you have to do is you verify your form 183. There are two processes to verify your form 183. One is you submit a hard copy, you go to your college, you get it signed by your college, get the stamp over there, and then submit it. The other one is what you have to do, you just apply it online when your college verify it. Once these both parts are submitted and approved, what you have to do, you will get a scheduling permit. Now you can schedule your exam on Prometric website, choose a try it, and get your choose any date that you want to give your exam. Okay, but the thing about medical school credentials, this is very important. When I was preparing, I was not aware of all this, so it was a big hurdle for me to know about all this and then apply. So the transcript and degree are the two important things that should be sent to ECFMG by your medical school. One, your med school send it to the ECFMG, you are now able to apply everything online. They will verify you. After that, what happens when you apply for step 1, then ECFMG automatically starts their process of online services to your medical school, and now you will be able to apply for step 2, step 3 only online. No need to do every time you have to fill form 183. After that, you go to their online application status and information system and check either your mail is verified or not. Okay, what path for complete a pathway, what you need is step 1, step 2. You have completed step 1, step 2. We will discuss on that, how to prepare for step 2, what about the strategies, and for step 2, how to prepare for that. After that, for pathway, nowadays the most important thing is this OET, which is occupational English test for doctors, med students only. In this test, what you need is you have to score 350 in speaking, in listening and reading, and writing you have to score only 300. It means in listening part, reading part, and speaking part, there are 42 marks. You can make 12 mistakes. You have to score 30, then you will be able to get 350 in each of them, and you will pass your OET and get a grade B, and now you can apply for the pathway. Before OET, they have introduced OET after COVID-19 because students were not able to travel, visa issues were there. Before that, this step 2 clinical skills, CS was there, but now it's not there, so you just have to clear your OET. Okay, these are the prerequisites. This is the most important, I think the most important slide, and the first two parts of this slide are the way to important things. First and the foremost thing is dedication. Dedication is the key to this pathway. Once you are dedicated and committed, then you can do the steps. Otherwise, it will be very difficult because it's I call it a journey because it's a journey. It's long. It takes time. It needs dedication, commitment, persistence, and a lot of things. You have to wait. You suffer. You get frustrated. You have a lot of hurdles. Try to give it before your med school graduation, because after that you will not be able to commit to this and focus on this. Then you have to do step 1, step 2 CK, OET, and step 3 is 3 things are basically step 1, 2, CK, and OET are there to apply for the pathways. Once you get residency, then you can give your step 3. So it's not essential or necessary to give step 3 before your pathways or your residency. You can give it anytime, but nowadays what people are doing, even now I'm preparing for step 3, they are opting for step 3 just because it will help to build your CV stronger than other applicants, because we are IMGs and it's very difficult for us to get residency in US. So we just try to get this step 3 early after we give our OET. Okay, the question that is most of the times asked whenever you say to people that I have cleared my step 1, or whenever you share on your LinkedIn profile or everywhere that I have cleared step 1, then a lot of stuff a lot of messages pop up in your inbox. They're starting and what resources you used, how you prepared for step one, and a lot of these questions. Even nowadays, people are asking me how you are preparing for step one, what are the strategies. It's very obvious that studying for step one is always tough and it's extremely difficult, but it's not impossible. The impossible word is nowhere. So what you have to do is, I mentioned earlier, dedication and the persistence, commitment. This is the thing you need only. So whenever you think that you are gonna have your residency in US, what is important? You start doing your preparation early, set the strategies, do everything you have to do to prepare early. What works, try to do the things that works for you, not everybody, because it's not necessary that what works for me will work for you as well. And nowadays, after Jan 2022, the step one is pass and fail. And what people are doing, this pass fail, after this pass fail criteria, they are just not completing their studies, not completing their courses, not properly prepared, and go and get their exam done, and after that they say, oh, we passed the exam. I strongly discourage it. You have to study well, you have to do everything that you need, because step one, if you have a strong basis in step one, then step two is 60%. I say 60% of the times is step one. So when you do well and good in step one, it will help a lot in your step two, because you don't need to go back and look into the first aid and then study and then revise everything. So what you have to do is you just go with the flow, and after that you start preparing for the step two. Time for preparation is, it depends. You start preparing during your med school or after your graduation. So what people do is, in the second to third year of their med school, they start their preparation. Because it takes breaks, a lot of breaks in between, because of your school examination, your professionals and everything. It takes a lot, but you need 1 to 3. 1 to 3 means you need 3 months of dedicated study time. What is most of the time, people, a lot of time you hear the dedicated study time. So basically, what is a dedicated study time? It's a time that is independent, uninterrupted review of everything that you have learned. You keep revising the stuff, you make a schedule, you follow their schedule, and you work on that for 3 to months. You think like you have to give your 100%. Some of the times you have to give 110%. So that's what you do, and you practice questions, you do question banks and everything. This is the time for preparation you need if you are a med school student. But if you are a graduate, for step one you need around 5 to 6 months. 3 months is you are not a dedicated period, but next 2 to 3 months is like your dedicated period, where you only study, do nothing. I don't say do nothing, but you most of the times you study, and you give your 110% to your studies, and then you keep revising stuff and doing everything. Okay, first thing first, now you have applied for Form 183, pathways, everything. Now you have decided that I'm going to take my steps. First you have to do is, for your step one, just assess your baseline. What you have to do, you take a practice test, any practice test. It can be your world practice test, or any practice test you take, just to check your baselines, just to check, am I stronger in my baselines, or do I need to start from the crap, or the very starting my baselines are not good. That's what you have to decide. After that, you plan your strategy accordingly. So set up your goal. You set up your goal basically means you have to target, for this long I have to prepare. After that, this much of time I have to give my step one, and then you have to do dedication, because the breaks in between of your study, it is a negative point, or it's a drawback, because once you take breaks, it will be very difficult for you to study again. So that's why you just set up your goal early. After that, try to make a good study plan. Good study plan means plan your schedule and resources wisely. Resources means there are a lot of resources. You hear people saying use this for step one, this. Just limit your resources, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, whatever works for you, and then try to stick to them at the till the end of your preparation. So that's what you have to do. Then make a schedule that is challenging but fair. Don't overburden yourself that you feel exhausted, you feel frustrated, and some after studying for some time you said, oh, I'm not able to study now, I want to take break, and uh, you start taking long breaks like 1 month. That's not a good plan. What you have to do is you make a schedule that works for you, that is good for you, that is challenging, obviously challenging, but yet fair enough that you will work on that. After that, you choose resources and try not to overburden you. This is the key. And try to know a few resources there. Resources, I always mention, try to keep resources minimum, and only that resources that works well for you only. Okay, what are the resources? Resources, 3 things you need for resources. One is your review books. At least keep 1 review books. More people, not only people, everybody uses first aid for step 1. This is the basic review book that you use. After that, choose a question bank and a lecture series. What I did when I was studying, I used first aid for content review. After that, I used UWorld for question bank as a question bank just to practice, and then boards and beyonds for lectures to reference that when I feel a topic is different, I was unable to solve on UWorld, or I was unable to understand on first aid, I opened the boards and beyond lecture series, try to find that topic, and then listen to that lecture, and it will be good for you. Then studying, obviously you have to study. Without studying, nothing will work. You have chose the resources, you have did everything, but studying, obviously you have to study whatever you do. So there is no substitute for studying. That's what you have to do. Be diligent, work hard, time, and give time, put the time and effort, put into your studying, and it's worth taking, and it finally will pay off. Whatever that means, working through questions, reviewing content, achieve your study, just try to achieve your goal, whatever works for you. After that, you have to track your practice. Basically, what's meant by tracking the progress. Tracking the progress means after studying for 2 or 3 months, or 1 month, or 15 days, whatever you think, you just give a practice test and exam and assess yourself that where I am standing. And after that, you try to cover your weak areas that in the practice test I was lacking in the area, in that specific exam, that specific domain. Now try to work on that domain and overcome your like lackings. Why I was lacking in this, what were the resources that I haven't used, or that the strategy that I was using, maybe it was not effective. Now I will go and use any other strategy that will work for me. So that's what you have to do, and it is very important. Tracking your progress is one of the most important things that you have to do after timely intervals. For study tips, are basically very helpful in step 1. These are all the things there are in general that it works for step 1 and it works for step 2 as well. Apart from resources and how to practice, and the different, because step 1 is your basics, it will test your basic knowledge, and step 2 is what your clinical skills. That is the difference between step 1 and step 2, but the strategies are same for both. Start early. I explained this earlier. Start early means what you have to do is you start early during your med school days or after your graduation, and then you have to decide, should I use the UWorld question bank first, or first I go read the books and then start doing question works. Depends on you. If you wanna but what I recommend is start doing any question bank first, because it will give you more insight into the real exam, that how will they test, how will they ask the questions and everything. And the other thing is you just thoroughly read the first aid, go over the first aid, and after that what you do is you start doing question bank, and then you do your assessments. Focus, this is very important during your study hours. Just try to limit your interruptions. You try to stay away from distractions. I think nowadays one of the biggest distractions is mobile phone. For me, it was mobile phone. I think for everybody, it's mobile phone. So just try to limit these distractions during your dedicated study periods, and plan your breaks as well accordingly. Regular breaks so you don't burn out. Breaking during dedicated can be motivating. It doesn't mean that during motivation study period I don't have to do anything. I will study, study, study. No, that's not going to work out, because you will burn out when you study all the time but not taking the breaks. So when you take breaks during your study times, try to have a catch-up day. Catch-up day means studying for 6 days, then having one day off, full day off. I recommend full day off. Don't do anything. Don't think about study. Just go out, chill, and then next day start with a fresh mind, and then you will feel more enthusiastic, more dedicated. So that's what you have to do. Social life, have someone to talk to because you feel frustrated. You are not doing everything. This is very important, and try to enjoy your time with and vent if needed. Okay, when you say I am fully prepared for the step one, you did everything. Now you have to decide whether I am fully prepared for the exam or not. Is you have to do practice tests consistently and reaching your before that it was not pass fail, it was scoring system. Then you choose, set a goal that I want to score about this. And if you are getting in your assessment, it's not difficult to get every time, but most of the times if you are getting scores about that in your assessment test, then it's good that you are reaching your goal. Go and have your exam. For nowadays, pass or fail, just try to get a good score in NBMEs, and after that you just go and give your exam, and you will definitely pass your step one. So nowadays it's pass or fail, so you don't have to do this that I want to my target is about this, I have to do about this and all this. No, this is not going to work nowadays. Just have a good score in your NBMEs and go and give your exam. Okay, most important, these were all the, before that we were talking about how to study, what will be the strategies, how to apply for the for pathways, form 183 and all this. Now this is the main important I think resources for step one. First and the foremost one is UWorld all the times, because UWorld is the key. It's a question bank. You will solve the questions, you will know how to solve a question, how to narrow down your diagnosis, how to dig out important information from the question stem. So this is the important question stem. You can use any question stem, emboss is there, but UWorld is the most important one, and most of the people use UWorld. After that, first aid, it's a review book. It's a short book. While solving your UWorld, try to jot down important information in your first aid, so you don't miss out anything, because it's just a short and a review book, but a very good review book. BNB is a Boards and Beyond series. This is the lecture series they use, and definitely Pathoma, because pathology is heavily tested in step one, and Pathoma by Abdul Sattar is a very good resource. You use it, and then you will know there's a very good resource to understand everything you need to know. After that, Sketchy is basically a cartoonic videos that you use for just to remember things. I use it for micro, and most of the times, or some of the times, for pharmacy, because micro you miss details, you don't remember anything, because it's very difficult to remember everything, each tidbit details about the micro and the organisms. So for that you can use Sketchy. Sketchy is a very important resource for me, and if it works for you, you can use it. It's very good. You listen to the videos, you can have PDF form or a book of Sketchy as well. You refer to that, you just keep looking at the pictures, and then you will remember everything about the organism. For example, let's talk about bacteria like Staphylococcus aureus. You want to know everything about that organism, you just watch the video from the sketchy, then learn from the first aid, and then solve the questions on the you will feel the difference, that now you will not forget everything. You will remember not everything, but most of the information you remember. Then you keep revising these along with first aid, UWorld, and sketchy. You will not forget this. So for microbiology and biochemistry, sketchy is cold. Try using this. If it works for you, just use it. For me, it's cold. But keep UWorld and first aid alongside sketchy, alongside pathoma, alongside BNB. With every resource you using, keep your UWorld question bank along with that, and first aid both. Okay, now you have done with UWorld. You have done with you are done with first aid revision and everything. Now you want to decide what I have to do. What is my target? 2 self-assessment in UWorld, UWorld 1 and USWA 1, we call it USWA 1 and 2, and there are newer NBMEs for step 1 from NBME 25 to 30. You go and you can buy it online and you solve this, and if you are achieving your target score, just you go and give your exam. That's what you do. These are the self-assessment examinations. You give these examinations and you know about everything. Okay, step 1. Step 1 was basically all about your basics. The first, second, and third year of med school that you learn your biochemistry. After that is your immunology section. These are the sections that are defined in, that are given in first aid. These are the from the first aid. First is your biochemistry, then your immunology section, then your microbiology section. Then after that you are doing your pathology section. Then after that there is pharmacology section, and then comes the systems. Try to follow this guideline or this track which is given, this content line which is given in the very start of your first aid, and try to read the first few pages of first aid that are very important. And after you are done with the first aid, the very last pages of first with the rapid review ones are very important. It will give a short insight. You will know everything from that, as it's just a rapid review and you can revise from there. So that's what you can do. And while studying, try to make jot down important points from the UWorld. Just make flashcards. There's option flashcards in the UWorld as well. Try to jot down important points on your first aid or online, your Microsoft or whatever works for you. Just jot it down and keep revising those. Make flashcards in those and use those. If you think you are not remembering everything, you keep forgetting everything, try using Anki, ANKI. AKI, this is a you can use it just to revise your all the things that you have studied. It will this is an app. From first day you revise the stuff, after a few days you again open it and it will shuffle all the cards. These are the flashcards that will pop up and you will keep revising everything. Okay, now you are done with step 1. You have did everything, you are good to go, and now you can prepare for your step 3. For step 3, it's not a very long exam. It's if you are doing dedicated study or if you are very focused, then it's not a too long or short time. It will take along 5 to 6 months. So just you have to revise your step 1 and then your step 1 knowledge. Now you have to apply your step 1 knowledge in step 2 is a clinical examination. You have how you deal with the patient, what steps you have to follow once the patient is in the hospital, what you have to do, what will be the next strategy, what drugs you have to give, preferred treatment. That's what they ask most of the time. What will the most important diagnosis, what will be the most important next steps. These are all the things that comes in step 2 examination. Okay, for step 2, first aid for step 1 is the key. You have to keep your first aid step 1 in step 1, step 2, and step 3 as well. For all the exams, you need your first aid. So first aid is the key. Keep your first aid along with you. I think it's a holy book. You can keep it as in your mobile phone as a PDF, or you can have your book as a hard copy as well. It's very important. First aid is very important book, so you try to keep it with you. After that, UWorld for step 2 CK. That's what you have to use. The question bank only focus on the step 2 UWorld CK. Try revising the question banks and solving it. Try to solve it systematically or randomly, whatever works for you. What I did UWorld for CK. My first pass was all systematically. I started doing systems, and then making notes on online notes. I was making notes on my PDF drive, and then using those, revising those, because there is no other resource for step 2 CK. There is step 2 CK first aid, but it's just, I tried using step 2 first aid, but it was not helping for me. The same information that is given in UWorld is given in the step 2 first aid as well. So you can use that, but UWorld is the gold. Try making notes of UWorlds and keep your resources minimum and revise frequently this only, not do anything. After that comes CMS forms. These are the CMS forms. These are the basically forms, clinical master skills by NBMEs, the board that makes your paper or that designs your exam. Basically, these are the forms that are not superior to CK, but they are very important, because these CMS forms are formed by the NBME personnel, the ones that design your tests. So these are very important. Try solving these CMS forms, keep revising them along with UWorld and your step 1 first aid, and try to solve your try to know about the strategies, how to solve the question. Try to narrow down your diagnosis by using these question banks, and that's what you have to do for step 2. Okay, for step 2, again, there are two assessments. Again, UWorld assessment, self-assessments 1 and 2, and also there are 2 NBME. I think there are, before, when I was giving my exam, there were only 9 to 11 NBMEs. Now there is a new addition to NBMEs, 9 to 12. So that's what you have to do once you are done with your preparation and everything. Now you can give your assessment and start studying for start preparation. And if you feel while giving assessments, you feel you are lacking in some specific area, try focusing those areas, keep revising those things. I forgot to mention, for step 2, NKey is also an important thing. This is the thing that you use frequently, and it will help you to revise stuff, because you keep forgetting information and the steps. What you have to do, second what you have to do. There are a lot of algorithms and tables in UWorld that are the key. If you remember those algorithms and tables from the UWorld, then it means you can ace in your exam. But the thing is, you keep forgetting. So for that, you use NKey to remember the UWorld tables, algorithms, the pathways. First, when the patient presents, what you have to do. Second, what you have to do. Third, what you have to do. That's what you do. For example, if a patient with meningitis is in the hospital, what will be the first step? There are a lot of things that comes with the first step. You have to look at the patient. If the patient is stable, not that much deteriorating, then what you have to do, you go with the lumbar puncture. But if the patient is critically ill, that first you have to stabilize the patient. Try to stabilize the patient. First give antibiotics, then you go with the lumbar puncture thing. So this is the very important. That's how you differentiate while solving they ask, what is the next step? So first try saving the patient. After that is the next step. So this is very confusing while doing UWorld step 2 CK. This is the thing that you have to differentiate. And after that is the assessment part. You give your assessment. Now you feel you are ready for step 2. Go give your exam, and you are good to go. Now after doing step 2 OET, you have to give. Definitely, it's not a very difficult exam. I will give a brief review about OET as well. You have to practice doing speaking part. You are try doing speaking practice with someone else. You have to behave like a doctor, where you have to where you have to talk to a patient and describe everything to the patient. Listen to the patient and everything. That's what you have to do in speaking part. And reading part is a time defined part. You have to practice in that time. Try read a thing, then fill in the blanks and read a para, and then respective questions you have to solve that. This is all about your reading part. And writing part, you have to write a letter. It can be the referral letter, it can be discharge letter, it can be any letter. So try practicing that letters, and now you give your OET step 1, step 2, and OET. Now you can apply for your pathways. You can apply for ECFMG certification. Now you are ECFMG certified, and you can apply for US residency. This is all the things that you have to do. This is all the approximate cost, because most of the time people keep asking what will be the cost for step 1, what will be the cost for step 2, what will be the cost for step 3, and all this. A lot of times everybody did study, but this is the thing that is very important. Lastly, a lot of people were asking what will be the cost for step 1, step 2. This is all the approximate cost that I have calculated, what I paid during my steps. So for form 186 that I described, what is the form 186? That this is the very initial form that you have to start with. After that, cost for step 1, then step 1 UWorld. If you are subscribing for 6 months, this is the cost that you have to pay in dollars. Then step 2, and UWorld for step 3. This is also a UWorld for step 2. Then OET, and then for pathways, this is the total cost that you have to pay during your steps examination. Okay, all about steps. It's an easy pathway. It's not a difficult pathway. It's not an impossible pathway. First you have to do is you have to aim, you have to decide. Now you have to limit your resources, and then you have to study. Start studying, and the most important thing is never give up. Once you decide it, now you have to study, you have to do everything. There are a lot of you come across a lot of hurdles, because it's a journey. Journey is a long journey. Can take even step 1, if it takes 5 months, it's a lot. And if step 2 takes 6 months, it's a lot. And most of the time you keep on studying. So what you have to is once you decided, now you don't have to give up. Now you have to do this. So this is all the things about steps. And thank you. This was the presentation for today's session. And if any questions or any queries you want to ask, feel free to contact me anytime. So जी बिल्कुल आ रही है. जी बिल्कुल आ रही है. जी आवाज आ रही है. आपको मेरी आवाज आ रही है? जी पूछिए क्या क्वेश्चन. वैलिड होता है ओईटी की वैलिडिटी होती है बेसिकली फॉर 2 years. एवरी ईयर वो बता देते हैं कि आपने आफ्टर दिस, आप ECFMG की वेबसाइट पे देख लेते हो, चेक करते हो, आपको पता चल जाता है. जैसे दिस ईयर उन्होंने अप्रैल 1 का उन्होंने बताया था, और वो स्कोरिंग का भी बताते हैं कि यू हैव टू स्कोरिंग अबव दिस इन स्पीकिंग, रीडिंग और राइटिंग में कितना आपने स्कोर करना है, ये सारा वो बता देते हैं. तो ये वैलिड होता है 2 years के लिए. 2 years बाद आपका एक्सपायर हो जाता है. इट मीन्स कि आप 2 years तक आप यूज कर सकते हो. उसके बाद आपने अगेन ओईटी. यस, बिफोर ओईटी जो चीज थी हमारे पास CS थी. तो CS तो आपका ये था कि आपने एक दफा दे दिया तो आपका हो गया, आपने दोबारा नहीं देना. बट OET आफ्टर एवरी 2 years यू हैव टू गिव इट. डिपेंड्स ऑन यू. मैं तो मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स जिसको भी कहती हूँ मैं रिकमेंड करती हूँ, बिकॉज स्केची इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग फॉर मी एंड इट वर्क्स अलॉट फॉर मी. क्योंकि स्केची से पहले माइक्रो और फार्मा दोनों मेरे लिए एक बहुत बड़ी मुश्किल चीज थी, क्योंकि इसमें बहुत छोटी डिटेल्स होती हैं और आपको याद रखना पड़ता है हर चीज. स्केची है कि आपने वीडियो देख ली, कार्टूनिक चीज हो जाती है, एनिमेटेड चीज हो जाती है, आप कभी नहीं भूलते. आप तो आप यूज कर लो. अगर आपको समझ आती है कि इट वर्क्स फॉर मी, देन यू कैन यूज इट. सो ट्राई यूजिंग द थिंग्स दैट वर्क्स फॉर यू. ये तो एक जर्नल रिव्यू है कि आप स्केची यूज करो तो अच्छा है. मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल जो है वो यूज करते हैं, तो आप यूज कर लो, आपके लिए बहुत अच्छा हो जाएगा, क्योंकि मेरे लिए बहुत हेल्पफुल था. हाँ, बिल्कुल, बोर्ड्स एंड बियॉन्ड से आप देख लें, क्योंकि जो टॉपिक्स आपको मुश्किल लगते हैं, वो फिर आपको मुश्किल लगते हैं. आपको अगर स्टार्ट में एक टॉपिक आपको लग रहा है कि मुश्किल है, मैं इसमें नहीं फँस रही हूँ, मैं इसको नहीं कर पा रही हूँ, इट मीन्स कि टिल द एंड ऑफ योर प्रिपरेशन वो टॉपिक आपको तंग करेगा. उसके क्वेश्चंस आएँगे, उसके बारे में आप न्यू वर्ल्ड में क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करेंगे, तो जो चीज़ आपको लग रही है कि स्टार्ट में ही मैं इस चीज़ में वीक हूँ, आप वहीं से उसपे ग्रिप पकड़ें. और ग्रिप पकड़ने का यही तरीका है कि आप कोई बुक यूज़ कर लें या फिर आप कोई वीडियो सीरीज़ देख लें. तो बोर्ड्स एंड बियॉन्ड शॉर्ट और प्रिसाइज़ है, अच्छी सीरीज़ है, तो आप वो यूज़ कर लें. तो आपको वो टॉपिक कभी भी वीक नहीं रहेगा. टिल द एंड ऑफ द डे आपको कभी वो टॉपिक आपको मसला नहीं करेगा. तो आप यूज़ कर सकते हैं, आराम से यूज़ कर सकते हैं. फर्स्ट एड मैं मेंशन कर चुकी हूँ. रिसोर्सेज में फर्स्ट एड हैंडबुक ही है, वो आप पीडीएफ फॉर्म में अपने मोबाइल में डाउनलोड कर लें, या फिर आप उसकी बुक अपने पास रखें, क्योंकि फर्स्ट एड वो किताब है, मैं इसको बोलूंगी होली बुक, जो आप स्टेप 1 में भी यूज करते हो, आप स्टेप 2 में भी आपको, आप जब करोगे स्टेप 2 की तैयारी, आपको समझ आएगी कि मुझे स्टेप फर्स्ट एड की जरूरत है, मैं अब भी इसको देखूं. तो आपने फर्स्ट एड को अपना बना लेना है. उसमें आपको जो चीजें लगती इंपॉर्टेंट है उसके ऊपर लिख लें, उसके ऊपर जॉट डाउन कर लें, तो उसको एक बहुत अच्छी किताब बना लें, तो वो आपको हमेशा यूज हो जाएगी. तो फर्स्ट एड आपकी हैंड बुक है, आप हमेशा यूज कर सकते हैं. रिसोर्सेज बेसिकली मीन्स कि आपने कौन कौन सी चीजें जो आपने यूज करनी है. अब कैप्लन सीरीज है, वो आप यूज कर सकते हो. इसके अलावा एम्बॉस क्वेश्चन बैंक है, वो आप यूज कर सकते हो. पिक्चराइज स्केची भी है, जो आप सुनते हो एनिमेटेड वीडियोस में, स्केची है, पिक्चराइज है, वो भी आप यूज कर सकते हो. तो बहुत सी चीजें हैं, तो आपने उसमें से नेरो डाउन करना है कि कौन सी चीज मेरे लिए वर्क कर रही है. आप एक कुछ ऐसा यू वर्ल्ड करोगे, आप कहोगे नहीं मुझे तो यू वर्ल्ड से नहीं समझ आ रही, अब मैंने एम्बोस करना है. आप एम्बोस में स्विच ऑफ कर गए, उधर चले गए हो, उधर आपने एम्बोस कुछ अर्सा सॉल्व किया, आपको लगा नहीं यार यू वर्ल्ड तो इससे ज्यादा अच्छा था. तो आप इसी में इतना टाइम लगा लोगे, तो आप हमेशा कंफ्यूज रहोगे कि किस तरह से मैंने इसको लेके चलना है. तो हमेशा अपनी रिसोर्सेज को नैरो डाउन करना है. 2-3 चीजें आपने पकड़नी है जो आपने हर हाल में यूज करनी है, और उसके बाद एंड तक आपने वही यूज करनी है. कभी आपने कोई फर्स्ट एड भी है पढ़ने के लिए, कैप्लन की भी एक शॉर्ट सीरीज बुक है, आप वो यूज कर लो, फर्स्ट एड यूज कर लो. लेकिन फर्स्ट एड मोस्टली लोग वही यूज करते हैं जो 90% ऑफ द पॉपुलेशन सजेस्ट करती है या रिकमेंड करती है आपको यूज करने के लिए. तो फर्स्ट एड है. तो ये इसका मतलब ये होता है रिसोर्सेज का, कि आपके पास क्या क्या चीजें हैं जहां से आप, नॉलेज तो हर जगह, आप गूगल में सर्च करो तो भी आपको मिल जाता है नॉलेज, लेकिन आपने किस चीज को यूज करना है. तो वो आपने शुरू में आपने लिया वो चीज, बाय द एंड ऑफ द डे आपने उसी को लेकर चलना है, उसी को रेफर करना है. कोई हर्डल आती है, उसी में आपने कोई अगर इंपॉर्टेंट चीज आपने जॉट डाउन करनी है तो उसी के ऊपर लिखना है, उसी के नोट्स बनाने हैं. तो इसका मतलब ये होता है. ओईटी तो आईएमजी सबने देना है. पाथवेज के आप विदाउट ओईटी अप्लाई नहीं कर सकते. आपने ओईटी देना है, उसके बाद स्टेप 1 स्टेप 2 ओईटी, आप एलिजिबल होते हो पाथवेज के लिए, आप ईसीएफएमजी सर्टिफाइड हो जाते हो. आफ्टर दैट आप स्टेप 3 के लिए अप्लाई कर सकते हो रेजिडेंसी के लिए. तो ये ओईटी तो सबने ही देना है. थर्ड सेकेंड ईयर आप स्टार्ट, थर्ड ईयर मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम थर्ड ईयर से स्टार्ट कर लो. थर्ड ईयर और बाय द एंड ऑफ फोर्थ ईयर आप अपना ट्राई करो कि स्टेप 1 दे दो. एंड आफ्टर इमीडिएटली आफ्टर फाइनल ईयर, और अगर टाइम मिलता है तो बीच में अपने फाइनल ईयर के आप अपना स्टेप 2 दे दो. एंड हाउस जॉब करने की जरूरत ही नहीं है अगर आपका ये दोनों चीजें कंप्लीट हो जाती हैं. फौरन से ट्राई करो कि यूएस चले जाओ. वो एक लंबी अलग से प्रेजेंटेशन में, जिसमें आपने पाथवेज के लिए आपके पास ऑब्जर्वरशिप्स होनी चाहिए, यूएस क्लिनिकल एक्सपीरियंस होना चाहिए. तो वो बिल्कुल एक अलग वो है. तो ये आपने दे दिया फर्स्ट ईयर सेकंड ईयर में, तो आप थर्ड ईयर फोर्थ ईयर में आपने दे दिया, और बाय द एंड ऑफ योर फाइनल ईयर आपने दे दिया तो आप पाथवेज के लिए अप्लाई करो, आप रेजिडेंसी के लिए अप्लाई करो, आपका टाइम सेव हो जाएगा। दे तो आप बाद में भी सकते हो, जैसे मैं ग्रेजुएट हूँ, आफ्टर माई हाउस जॉब मैंने अपनी तैयारी स्टार्ट की और अभी मैं दे रही हूँ। दे तो आप बाद में भी सकते हो, लेकिन आप पहले देते तो आपका टाइम सेव हो जाता है। एक साल में कितनी दफा, ये तो कोई खास उनकी वो नहीं है। जब भी उनकी प्रोमेट्रिक सेंटर में आपको डेट मिलती है आप अप्लाई कर सकते हो। सिर्फ 15 डेज वो टेस्ट नहीं कंडक्ट करते, जनवरी के 15 डेज है एंड के जिनमें वो उनका ऑफ होता है, इसी एनबीएमई पीपल या ईसीएफएमजी आप कह लो, वो नहीं कंडक्ट करते। बाकी थ्रू आउट द ईयर आप कभी भी दे सकते हो। बिल्कुल फर्स्ट एड ही है ऑल द टाइम। फर्स्ट एड फर्स्ट एड फर्स्ट एड जो मैं यूज कर रही हूँ और व्हाट आई रिकमेंड इज फर्स्ट एड, बिकॉज फर्स्ट एड इज द ओनली बुक जिसमें हर चीज आपको एक शॉर्ट हैंडी बुक में आपको मिल जाता है। सारा कुछ, सारी इंफॉर्मेशन, जो कुछ आपने पढ़ना है, जो चाहिए, तो आपको ज्यादा चीजों के लिए डिग आउट करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती। आप इसी के साथ इसी को यूज कर लो, इसी को लेके चलो। चलें, ठीक। थैंक यू आपका कि आप एक प्लेटफॉर्म प्रोवाइड किया, क्योंकि ये हर कोई कंफ्यूज ही होता है, हर कोई जानना चाहता है। तो थैंक यू आप लोगों का, आपने एक प्लेटफॉर्म प्रोवाइड किया जहाँ पे सारे आके ये जान सके कि आपने कैसे तैयारी करनी है, कैसे आगे करना है। तो इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। थैंक यू टू यू एज वेल। इट्स ओके, प्लेजर इज माइन एनी टाइम। जब भी किसी दिन अगर चाहें तो हम पाथवेज पे रख लेते हैं, कोई इशू नहीं है। तो प्लेजर इज माइन। ये आप लोगों का बहुत अच्छा प्लेटफॉर्म है। मुझे खुशी हुई मैं आप लोगों के साथ इसमें आई और मैंने पार्टिसिपेट किया। तो सो थैंक यू।